Alright guys, welcome back. So a new video for some new parts here. So we got a Blackbird Fabworx roll bar. Obviously that's not it right there, that is the car. But I got it in the other section of the garage. I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping everything to get it in first. So it means a lot of this stuff here is going to have to come out and get out of the way. So I'm going to start by getting the seats pulled forward as far as they'll go, seeing if I can leave them in. If not, I'll go ahead and remove them. It's just 4 bolts, so not a big deal there. Start getting all the plastics behind the seats out and getting everything out of the way. So I will go ahead and get the seats moved and go over kind of how to get a lot of these plastics out. Alright, so I got the seats kind of moved up forward here. I did go ahead and pop this piece up from here. I'm going to slide that up as well to get that out of there. So that should just pull straight up out of that. So shouldn't have to remove the center console for this, I wouldn't think. I'm going to go ahead and try that first. If I do need to remove it, it's not that difficult to remove, and I'll go over that at that time. So first thing we're going to do is go around all these pieces here, pop all the little retainers. There's some by here, down there. So I'm just going to go around and pop all these out. Get all those pulled. Once I do that, I'll start working on everything else, like removing the front side of these roll bars, and then I'll go over that at that time as well. Alright, I got all the little retainers out right now. I did go ahead and remove the seat belt bolsters here, excuse me, the just little trim pieces that go over them. They just kind of pop off the front since you have the retainer moved, and then just kind of work this frontwards, and then you have that little retaining clip there that pops into this spot there. So you just kind of lift up on that and they come out fairly easy. So don't crank on it, don't break it. So next we'll just remove these guys here. Retainers are out, as you see, so really they're just kind of held in mostly by the sides here. So kind of remove that, set it out the way, pop this one up as well. I think there is this little clip here, so you just have to get that undone, which I can't do with one hand, and then that will be freed up as well. Alright, so 2 things on here. Pop up the little windscreen here. You just pull up, it's got clips that go in it right here. Just be careful with it if you want to keep it, and don't snatch on it, just kind of wiggle it back and forth until you kind of free it up. These guys here, you want to pop off the front here. Also just plastic clips here, you can kind of just pull straight forward and it should come on off. Once we get both of those off, haven't got that one off yet, then you can kind of pull these free here, and then you'll be able to remove this top piece, and we'll do that now. Alright, so now we're in here. That did come out all in one piece, as you see there in my messy garage. So not 2 pieces like I thought. I thought I removed it last time, but apparently not, just because it all comes out as one piece. So we're here now. Next thing we're going to do is remove some bolts from here and here and get this guy out of the way. We're going to get the retaining bolt here out for the seat belt there. Then we're going to come down to the bottom part of the seat belt, remove these 2 and the one right down there where you can see my finger wiggling, and get that whole piece removed as well on both sides. So once we do that, we will resume again. Alright, so we're here now. Took the bolt out for the top of that seat belt as well. 12mm there, 12mm here at the bottom, both 10mm here, and a 10mm for the bracket here. So all that's removed. I pulled out the little black box from there, so now we have access in there. So I'm going to go do the same thing to the other side over there, and then we'll start on the next step. Alright, so we're here on both sides now. We're going to get the side impact brace here off. I'm just going to remove this side here, and then might just leave these for now, and see if it'll pull with those still on, those do get transferred to the new bar, I believe. So keep up with that hardware. So I'm gonna remove both of those sides there, and then any wiring that attaches to this roll bar we have to remove. Any clips just holding it to it, and then we'll continue at that point. Alright, so we got hardware removed, all four of these removed, 2 bolts and a nut there, same with that side and there. I did go ahead and remove the bar here completely, just because you have to cut up off of that stud, and then it kind of runs into the wires here, so just went ahead and got it out of the way anyways. So now it's ready to just kind of pull out, so I'm going to do that and get it out of the way and then resume again. Alright, kind of got a bad glare because of the sun, but you can see she's out now. I'm going to go ahead and remove the retaining clips for the trim piece on the back here. So I'm just really using a small flathead screwdriver just to pop those up and then just pull them out. So I'm going to go ahead and get those pulled off and then kind of move this bar further out of the way. Also, just wanted to note, make sure you take the Phillips head screws out here, so you can take the back pieces as well. Those pieces I don't believe will be reused, but it just easier to pull the whole thing off with those removed as well. Alright, just for the sake of comparing the two, obviously the old bar in the front there, new bar in the rear, so big difference there. Besides even the additional bracing on both sides, obviously a much taller hoop, and then obviously bolts in the front and the rear there, so a lot stronger, also a lot heavier, but it is worth it. So I'm going to work on getting this guy more unwrapped, and then I'll try to get it seated in place so we can see what we're working with here. Alright, now with the old bar out, as you see here, I'm going to remove these plastics here so I can kind of get behind there for where the rear legs sit. And then once I get in there, I can show a bit more. Alright, so that side completely removed of the plastics. You can see all the open space back here. One more here. Again, it's just going to be those little plastic retainer clips that you can see there, and then these plastics come out pretty easy. Alright, so while we're in here, this spot right here along this seam, get off any large pieces of the seam with a razor blade, and then we'll take, I just used my dead blow here, and all along here, just kind of flatten it out so it's not so rounded, and then do the same thing to both sides. So any spots that are raised up high with the seam, use your razor blade just to kind of cut down, and then beat right along here just to kind of flatten it out so it's not rounded. Alright, so the next step is to remove these little rubber bumpers from the frame here so we can get the roll bar in. So we're going to remove those first. These should just pull forward, yeah. So we're going to remove that, and then we're going to cut this bracket piece off as close to this as we can. Maybe we can see better on the other side. Let me adjust. Okay, so right here, so we'll take the rubber bumper out and we're going to cut right along that, so as close to where those little welded on nuts are, to get that bracket off. And then we're going to install the bumpers on the roll bar. Alright, so I'm just going to use my small cutting wheel here. I did go ahead and get one side here, as you see, and then I just kind of pulled it away. I was kind of leaning on the top so it wouldn't come down, and I'll be able to kind of get in there for the next side. But that's kind of how I did it. Actually, the top is kind of in the mostly down position, but I kind of have it held up a little bit so it doesn't drop on that, obviously, while I'm cutting, because cutting the top would not be good. Alright, so you see here, I did go ahead and get those brackets cut away from both sides. Like I said earlier, just be careful with the top and take your time cutting. The metal's pretty thin, so it doesn't take very long. Just make sure you know where you're cutting. Alright, so you can see on the roll bar here, that's where the rubbers go for the soft top bumpers. So I did recommend using a little bit of a spray lubricant. I just have this stuff here, so kind of a dry silicone spray. Just put it on the back side of the rubber piece here, kind of in the groove and around it, and then a little bit on the roll bar too. And then the best way to do it was kind of push it down hard, twist it a little bit, and then just kind of push it straight down after that. And after a little bit of working, it went in. All right, so now with that done, next thing we do is cut off that stud here from the stock OEM bar. So the stud on both sides, that one over there as well, will have to be cut as flush as possible. So that is our next step. I'm gonna go ahead and get the cutting tool back out and get to cutting that off as low as I can. Alright, as you see, the bar is set in place now. With one person, it is pretty difficult, especially if you don't want to bang the thing up. Thankfully, I do exercise quite a lot and was able to get it in here by myself without banging it up. I did leave a lot of the foam, as you see, on a lot of the pieces here that I thought might hit. I am going to have to remove the end pieces here because those do need to be flush. So I'm going to get this off in just a moment. Two of the things I was doing, getting this loosely placed on here with the supplied hardware. It is one of the smaller screws there with the small washers. And then a little locking nut right there. So those are obviously just on real loose. And also switching out this piece here. So that is the new one on there. It is just two Phillips head, there we go, two Phillips head screws. That is also on there loose, so I can adjust it properly so those will meet up. So next I'm going to go ahead, get these pieces off so I can sit it back a little bit further, get those lined up, and then use the OEM spots here. These have like a little slide hole, so I just have those hand tight so the bar can still kind of shift around a little bit. So I am going to, I got that one in over there as well. So kind of shift this to where that meets up the best. And then once I get it pretty centered, I'm going to go ahead and snug down this one and that one on that end. And then I can mark all my holes for drilling later. Alright, this is probably where I'm going to finish for today. I'll let you know kind of what I've done so far. Got the hole there and there with the OEM bolt bolted down. Got both sides over here bolted back in to pull the top of the bar back. So I did make sure it was latching properly back here. So that's latching there, and then also made sure it released correctly and wasn't getting hung up. So I have it where I want it right now, with the 3 bolts on both sides. So tomorrow when I come back, I'll start marking all the holes so I can start drilling tomorrow. So I'll start the video back then. Like I said, that'll be starting just to mark all the holes where I can pull the bar back out, and then get to drilling with the different drill bits that I'll go over with tomorrow as well. Alright, so after you mark all the holes, go ahead and remove all the hardware you had in here and down here on both sides. We're going to go ahead and get the bar back out now so we can start getting our drill bits out and getting to drilling. Alright, so got our blue Sharpie here. I'm going to go around to all the holes here on the front side. Then I'm going to lift the top up and get back in here to the rear legs back there and mark those holes as well. Once I get everything marked properly, we're going to get the bar back out and we will get the drill out with the drill bits, and I'll kind of go over those and which ones we are using where. Alright, so these are the bits I have. See the long 1/4 inch bit here. It's the main one we're going to start with. And then we got this right here with our hole saw attachment. for those top ends, for those spacers to be able to slide into. So yeah, for now I'm going to go ahead and get my long bit here hooked up to the drill, and we're going to go and work on the front plates first. So all our spots where we marked here, here, and here, we're going to drill down as straight down as we can and get those started for this side and this side over there. Alright, so first 3 holes drilled up top here. The next step is to take one of your lower brackets there and come down here in the little cubby hole where the holes are down here, and make sure that those do match up, that you did drill those down straight, because when you do get the bar in, you do want to go ahead and make sure that your holes are going to meet up. So that's pretty important. Go ahead and do that before you get the bar back in. That way, if you have to make any adjustments, you can do so at this point. Alright, so we got the small holes drilled here. Now we're going to take our 1-inch hole saw, the little pilot bit in it. As you see, just put that pilot bit right there, and drill our 1-inch holes for our spacers at this point. So after that, it'll be a little bit easier to tell and make sure those holes line up, but I did verify these are pretty close so far. Alright, so I got my 3 1-inch holes here. I was about to start going through the those with the slightly larger drill bit. I believe it is, let's see, it is a 13/32. The one I got is a little too short though to get through all the way, so I do need to get me a longer bit. So it's going to be on pause now until I go grab another bit. I'm going to go ahead and do the 1-inch holes on the other side, just to get those done and out of the way. And then once I do make a store run and grab another drill bit that's a little bit longer, then I will be able to go ahead and get all the way through. That bigger bit is just so that the bolts can fit through the bottom here. So that is the size for those. Alright, I went and got my other drill bit. I did go ahead and finish with the hole saw. Got the holes drilled all the way through the bottom with the longer bit. So now that both sides are done, I'm going to go ahead and work on the back here. I did have to pull the top up, as you see. I didn't latch it, I just have it kind of pulled up a little bit to get it out of the way. So all the spots I marked back here, I'm going to go ahead and drill through now. I did use a punch just to kind of center it, make sure the drill doesn't walk. I started that one a little bit, as you see, and then I was reminding myself, like, oh, you should probably record this part. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and drill through here. I do still have tires on at the moment, so I'm going to be very careful not to push straight through. And then once all the inside parts are done, I'm going to go ahead and jack the rear end up, put it on jack stands, and then we'll get to that part a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get these holes drilled. Alright, as you see, I got the holes drilled on both sides now. So I'm going to go ahead and get my shop vac and work on getting all these metal shavings out of here and all down in here. Obviously all the crap all over the place. So I'm going to get all the hardware and stuff kind of cleaned up and go ahead and start vacuuming. Once I get that done, obviously really tight here, I'm going to move this, and then we'll work on cutting some of this trim out for to get that back piece back in. Alright, for this I am just using my little Dremel here. I did remove all the little clips out of this, as they will not be used during this. I cut this piece here down. You can see that versus this side here. I got this piece cut off right here. I center lined it right here on this guy and cut it. That looks like where it was cut on the directions. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit as well. It does have this little lip here right there, so I just cut next to it right there. So my guideline there for that. I did cut this down as well. So I've got this one cut. I cut about halfway down here, and then to about right here from this piece there. So that looked like about the best I could figure out from the instructions. Kind of a better look here. I'm gonna clean that up, obviously. That's what the little grinding block there is going to be for. So we'll get all that cleaned up in a minute. I just want to show you comparatively from the two sides here that that's how it looks so far. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side now. Alright, so I did get everything shot back out of here. Got the carpet all done as well. All the metal shavings out from the little cubby holes down here also. I did also get finished up on the trim. So got everything out here. Everything finished up here. Got the boxes cut out. Got the notches cut here on both sides, and the notches cut here, which I do still have to clean these up because I did almost forget about the center box. So yeah, these are just notched out on the top corners like this, so those cross pieces can come through here and sit through here. So I am going to go ahead and finish cleaning this up a bit, and then it'll be actually time to get the bar back in at this point. Alright, so I've got all these spacers sitting in there. I just have the bolt kind of sitting on there just to make sure they kind of can't fall in. So I'm going to go ahead and get the roll bar kind of in place, get those bolts pulled back out, and then get it seated there, slap the bolts back in, and then make sure everything lines up with the holes I drilled over there and the current holes here, if it all does, then we'll go ahead and start getting all the hardware connected. Alright, so we got the bar in place once again. I do have the hardware started on both of the front sections here. I did go with the bolt up on this one here just because I was having an issue getting it past this lip here. If you put the bolt in before getting the roll bar in, maybe you could not have an issue with that, but I just decided to go bolt up on that one. So I'm gonna leave that one on there. Same with this side, I did that on the front one as well. The other two are bolted down. I do have the nuts on the bottom as well. Everything looks lined up in the back on both sides. So I am going to go ahead and get the hardware for these two, the other bolt here as well. And then once that is snugged up on all those pieces, I'm going to get these tightened all the way up. And then I'll get the rear of the car in the air and work on getting the tires off and then getting the bracket for the rear sides there. Alright, so we got the wheel off now. As you see, I do have the bolts pushed through with the washers on them up top there. So next we have our plate right here. So this is the one we're going to use for this side. It does tell you to put some gasket maker on the back side of the holes here just to make sure no water comes in from where those holes are drilled up there. So we're going to put some gasket maker on the back side here. Then we'll get that smushed up there, get the nuts started, and I'm going to see how I'm going to do this. Have to like get a wrench wedged up in there and then tighten it from down here since I am only one person. But I'll get that figured out in a moment. Alright, so this is where we're at now. We got this all in place. Did use a wrench up top and just kind of wedged it in place. And then tighten it down here by hand with a socket. I would go back over all of them once you tighten them the first time, definitely, because this does pull the metal kind of down and kind of squish it. So once you do your third one on your first run, the other two are pretty loose. So do make sure to go back over all of them again. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the other side. Alright, so passenger side is done as well now. Did make sure everything is nice and tight. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the wheels back on, tighten them back to spec, and get the vehicle back on the ground. Alright, so now that we got the car back down, wheels tore back on, we're going to get these little side braces on. They go right over here where this threaded hole is to the bar here. We were supplied with some nuts down here, since the other one was threaded back here and this one obviously is not. So I'm going to get those nuts with the hardware and get both of these sides put on. Alright, so I did go ahead and get the side crash bar in. It's there. Got the seatbelt guide back on, as well as the top of the seatbelt here. So next, what I did is I went ahead and pulled off the drain and cleaned it out, since I already had access to it right here. So got it all knocked out, had some debris in there. I'm going to get that put back in, and then get the little cubby hole here back on, and then we will get the seatbelt bolted back in to that cubby hole. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for both sides now, and then I'll resume making at that point. Alright, so we got the passenger side all put back together. I was working on the driver's side here, and as usual, anytime I touch my car, something doesn't go as planned. So, as you see here, that's where the seat belt goes in right here. It's got the little pin on that side that goes in that little gap there, and then this just screws in. As you see, it just goes up and down now. There is a welded on nut that goes under here, and it's welded on the bottom side of this, and that came loose. So it's just like spot welded on 4 corners of that little nut, and unfortunately that came off. No way to really get it back in there. As you see, there's not even enough room to get my finger to that spot. It's enclosed in the back all around and on the bottom, and then obviously this piece right here is also in the way. I did look it up. It is part of the soft top frame here, so in order to actually get that piece replaced, you would have to replace the soft top frame, it looks like, which I don't want to do. I think I'm just going to have more content for another video, and we will go with a seat and a harness for the driver's side here, and we'll just leave the passenger side stock. So yeah, so stay tuned for that, I guess. Order a seat, a seat bracket, and then the harness. So obviously the bottom parts will bolt down here, and then the back straps will go to the roll bar here. Since I do have a roll bar, I can legally do that now. So yeah, that'll be the final plans there. So as of right now, I guess my roll bar installation is over with, because I'm not going to go back in with this back piece anymore, since I will need this to be open for the harness. So it's going to be nice and exposed, probably a little bit louder than I was wanting, because I kind of did want the more OEM look, but not what we're going to go with. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again for watching, and it has been a process. I do recommend having a second set of hands for this. It was doable by myself, but it's definitely easier if you have someone to help. So thanks. See you later.